Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Eternal Sonata playthrough. We're still in the Aria Temple, and yeah, this is what I was talking about right at the end of the last part. Downstairs, kill all the enemies on the glowing pink things. This floor, kill all the enemies not on the big glowy buttons. Which is a bit of a pain. Something that you may also find actually quite surprising is that those icicle eaters, the rats, that are basically obviously just a recall of enemies that we've seen many times before, they actually give out quite a lot of experience. You may not expect it, but they do. And that is super helpful. And also, Polka's definitely getting more useful right now, because Pure Geyser hits every single enemy on the field. And obviously that's really helpful. Because if you've got three enemies you're getting hits on. And obviously if you superpower it, great, and it's an infinite distance, so it doesn't matter where they are, they will get hit. So that just makes me really, really happy.
Good.
And obviously everyone's levelling up as well, which is just beautiful, because now we're bar jazz, obviously still. We're all pretty much on par, which is great. I think my guide recommended you be about level 35 by the end of this dungeon. We'll see whether that ends up being the case for me. But obviously now that we have so many characters all together, it can get particularly tiresome trying to keep them all on a level playing field. Really, at this point, it doesn't actually matter. You can pick whichever characters you like to take into battle with you, because none of the battles from this point forward will force a character upon you, which is quite nice. So, if you wanted to play with your favourites and ignore some of the others, then this would definitely be the time to do that. Because of the way that I am playing Eternal Sonata, I'm not, at least not until right near the end, i.e. in the optional dungeon, because when you get to the optional dungeon, at that point it really doesn't matter, because I will be of a sufficient level to take on the final boss, but also I'll be able to take on the final boss with the characters I wanted to take it on with, but I won't be quite the level I want to be with the characters I want to take on the optional boss with, because they are different. And the reason that's the case is because the optional boss is obviously harder than the final boss, because that's pretty much always the way. But I wanted a certain set of characters for the final boss, and so I thought I'll go with a slightly different setup for the optional boss, also because I want the characters that are going to be more helpful to me in that fight, because it is going to be more challenging. But that is that, and this is this. So since we're still in the Aria Temple, I think I might have already spoken about what an aria is, but since we're here, I might as well just go over it again. So an aria in music was originally any expressive melody, usually but not always performed by a singer, but it did become used almost exclusively to describe a self-contained piece for one voice, with or without orchestral accompaniment, normally as part of a larger work. Typical context for arias is opera, but vocal arias also feature in oratorios and cantatas, sharing features of the operatic arias of their period. Now an aria is Italian, basically just means air, so it's generally a very airy piece of music. Generally, an aria is usually sung by a female, I think, I'm not sure whether they tend to be frequently sung by sopranos, because yeah, they tend to be like the really beautiful, heartbreaking pieces that come in a piece of music. Well, in an opera. I'm trying to think. I think there's Wagner did one particularly famous aria, which I'm just trying to locate now, because yes, so he wrote Tristan and Isolde, which is based on, yeah, Tristan and Isolde, which is a pretty relatively popular medieval romance, and it's got quite a storied history. There's a particular thing with Tristan and Isolde, which is the Tristan chord, which is fascinating because it begins, but it's this dissonant chord. It doesn't finish properly. But as the opera continues, it eventually reaches the point towards the end where the Tristan chord is resolved. And so that's got quite a powerful moment. And I believe that the aria at the end of towards the end of that is quite a famous aria. It's I believe Liebestod, and that one I think is, yeah, it's yes, Liebestod, which is German for love death. It's the title of the final dramatic music from the opera. And it's sung at the end of the opera as Isolde sings over Tristan's dead body. And yeah, that's a pretty famous one. That's pretty much the only thing I can think of when I think of arias, although it took me a while to get there in terms of remembering it, but that's because, as you probably guessed, I'm not really an opera person. I'm a musical theatre person, love a bit of musical theatre. Always quite down for a bit of classical music as well. But opera? No, it's not really my thing. Ballet isn't either. Or contemporary dance. But that's just one of those things. I will say though, do love a bit of Matthew Bourne. His ballets are they're just amazing. I mean, I've seen two at this point. Seen his Sleeping Beauty and his The Red Shoes, and yeah, it's brilliant. Like, I will happily go and see a Matthew Bourne ballet any day of the week. Other ballet, not so much. Don't know what it is, but yeah, just catches my fancy, that one. So I'm hoping to go see his next one that's local to me, which I think actually is Cinderella, as at the time I'm recording this, and that's just quite awesome. Definitely need to book tickets for that, because they generally sell out constantly. So yes, not really not a person, so I'm certainly not the world's greatest authority when it comes to discussing opera. Now, what's happening right now is I'm getting incredibly confused. Because obviously there's that chest there, which I want that chest. Because I'm pretty sure that it gives you a weapon for Frederick. I think it gives you a baton. But for some reason, it just will not... I just can't get it to teleport properly. I don't know whether this was a bug in my version of the game. I have no idea. But it just would not unlock for me. And no matter how much I tried to figure out what was going on, it just wouldn't work. I don't know whether I needed to kill those guys in a specific order. I'm assuming so, but there's nothing in the game to tell you that that's how that works. And then there's something down here. I don't know, there's something down here, but I have no idea what it actually is. I don't know whether it's possible. I'm just gonna... Part of me suspects that the boss fight that's coming up can take place in 2 different locations, but I'm not sure if that's certainly the case. It's something I probably should have investigated, to be fair. But I just got slightly nervous about going down that route because I thought, well, that's not right. I'm not going in the right route, but then something must have been down there, so I have absolutely no idea. Confused the hell out of me what's down there. I don't know why that chest wouldn't do it what it was supposed to. But there we go. But anyway, since we are basically at the end of the dungeon now, I think I was just trying to figure out what the hell was going on. I thought, you know what, I'll just kill some more enemies whilst I'm at it. Take out my frustrations on them. The good thing is that we are going to level up a little bit more, and that's just going to make the next boss fight more bearable. Because it can be a challenge. And you know what I said earlier, I do tell a lie. I said that none of the future boss fights are going to force a character on us. No, that was a lie. The next boss fight is going to force a character on us. Thankfully that character is pretty damn good, and it's not like it is sort of coming out of nowhere, but it's not going to cause you as much grief as you perhaps would have thought it was going to. I mean, if your heal is your party member in the last slot, then maybe it will. But it really shouldn't be quite as bad as you would have maybe initially thought.
What's the matter?
Yes, just gotta keep pumping through. But I will say I'm very excited to get to the end of this dungeon, because a lot of, well, a very cool moment in the game happens, and It's just really awesome. And then obviously going into the final bits of the game, they're also quite spectacular and...
Alright, let's keep moving forward.
Well, I am going to have to think very carefully about how I am going to tackle them with regards to my commentary. Because we are going to get some long parts of dungeons, and obviously, as you've probably been able to tell, sometimes there's only so much commentary that a certain area can hold. And obviously, I'm just me, and trying to come up with all the commentary can be difficult. So, I'll have to think very carefully about sort of topics we can discuss during those, because they are going to be quite long. There's quite a few of them towards the latter stages of the game, particularly in those the two final dungeons that we're dealing with. So the final dungeon and the optional dungeon. Because as I said before, we'll be there for a while. But as I have also said before, this is something I tend to do quite often, I feel. I plan ahead whilst I'm doing a commentary, which is perhaps not the best way to do them. But hey, see behind the scenes of my thought process, and also to be fair, all these commentaries are is me talking to a screen whilst I watch the footage that I have recorded. And so basically I'm just talking to myself during these. Obviously you guys are there watching and enjoying, hopefully.
Alright, let's keep moving forward.
Yeah.
The battle isn't over yet.
I do tend to talk to myself and talk through things in my head whilst I'm doing these, obviously because I like to keep the conversation that's non-existent, because obviously you guys are watching this and I'm talking to a screen with nobody responding, but hey, that's life. But it certainly helps me out anyway in my head, because I get to just ponder a little bit more about what's going on, because I do tend to, like, I think before I start doing a part, I think, oh okay, what do I know I'm going to want to talk about during this part? So like I'd already gotten up about arias, I'd already gotten up the stuff for Aria Temple, Celestial Forest, etc. But then once I get into the main body of the recording commentary, I tend to just wing it. For better or worse. Because obviously I know I have a slight strange manner of speaking sometimes, because I pause in the middle of my sentences, and then there's like, obviously there's long pauses, because what's happening is that I'm thinking as I'm speaking, effectively. So I'm trying to figure out what the best words, well, what are the best words to continue making my point, and obviously that is occurring in the middle of recording. So even though I'm pausing, and that gives this the way I speak a strange pattern to it, it helps me hone in on my point a little bit more effectively. And I mean, it's something that I'm pretty sure I've always done. Because I mean, obviously the other thing that can happen, and does happen, is that I ramble and ramble and ramble, and even though there are moments where I pause in the middle of my sentences, there are others where I can just talk and 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 talk. So I just keep powering through because the thoughts are coming and I'm able to get through them. But anyway, we're up here in the Temple of Light. This is the full final point of our dungeon. I can't remember whether I'm going to run back downstairs to see what the hell was down there, or whether I just thought, you know, I just want to finish this dungeon now because I've been running around for a bit too long. Got very frustrated. But either way, make sure we're healed up. And I think that I'm going to take Jazz and Viola and Salsa into this fight, mostly because I want Jazz and Viola there. Salsa doesn't really matter, but they are the most fitting for what we are about to face, or at least I think so anyway.
What the? It's just a dead end.
See? I told you were just seeing things.
But I'm sure I saw someone. She was right there, going in the entrance.
Incredible. Here you all are. You really did come to Baroque. Looks like what I learned in Retardando was true after all.
Hey, she was right. There really is someone here besides us.
Yeah, I guess this is who Polka saw at the entrance earlier.
I don't know. She doesn't seem like the same person to me.
Listen carefully. I have business with that girl. If you all do precisely as I say, I won't harm the rest of you. Understand? Don't make a move!
Falsetto!
Hi, guys. I'm sorry I worried all of you. It's just that I realize that I'll never be able to compete with Claves now. No matter how fast I run, I can never catch up. I'll only just become more and more bitter, and she'll always have a smile on her face. That was all I could think about, and before I knew it, I had run away. But now, I may have this one chance to catch up. One way. One possible way of standing on equal footing with Claves. Even now, after she's gone on to the great unknown. And the way I can do it is by defeating you! I am not going to run anymore!
Not bad. I'm so impressed you were able to figure out I was the one who killed her. Perhaps we should have had you ferret out information about Andantino. Actually, it's not too late. What do you think? Would you like to take the place of Claves? You could work with us. Think about it. Andantino's leader is about to die. No one will ever find out that you're a spy.
It's because of despicable people like you that tragedies like what happened to Claves occur in the first place. It's unforgivable. The way people like you can use and discard feelings without so much as a second thought! And now you're gonna pay for it!
And so, at last, we finally get to fight Rondo.
No matter what, I will never lose to you.
And obviously, Falsetto will join your party and therefore knock out whoever is in last place. Now, she's levelled up a bit since we last had her, so she's sort of on par with everybody else. Not majorly, but sort of. And yes, this is the reason why I wanted at least Jazz as part of my party, because it's only fitting that he participates in taking down the woman who murdered Claves. Obviously it's super fitting for Falsetto to be in here as well, because it was her colleague, and the woman that the man she loves loved. So it's only right that she gets her revenge as well. And Viola, well, she also fancies Jazz, so nice for her to help out, and she's a healer. So that works out good for me. Now, Rondo is not an easy fight, because she's super quick. I mean, as you can see, like, it can be very difficult to dodge her effectively. And, oh my word, definitely a challenge. But, as long as you stay on top of everything, you should be fine, and this is just such a satisfying battle. It's just so good to be able to avenge our fallen party member. And that just makes me super happy. Give it a few more hits, well, another minute or two of racing her down, and hopefully she will die. And yes, with this boss battle, we are right at the end of Chapter 5. And yeah, but the game is really quickly going to head into its climactic moments. Now I have to say, I wonder who's going to get the final blow. I mean, really, it should probably be Jazz. But if it's Falsetto, that will be pretty good. Viola, alright, but it's not really necessarily her place. But fingers crossed. Come on, Jazz. It's either you or Falsetto. Okay, it's going to be Falsetto. Not quite as impressive as I would have liked, but still. Rondo is defeated. Falsetto is up to level 34, so yeah, as I said, about on par with everybody else.
Good.
And with that, we reach the end of Chapter 5 Nocturne. And it's time to return to Baroque to see what Prince Crescendo's answer is. But at last, we are all reunited. And let's take solace in that.
Jazz.